So you're doing the inner work, but you're wondering if it's working. You're wondering if you're actually healing from anxious attachment. Now, I used to wonder the same exact thing. And so come with me on my walk, and I'm going to share with you how to tell if you're actually healing from anxious attachment. Let's go. Now, let me just first say healing is a lifelong journey. It's not a one and done thing. So you're likely going to have triggers that come up for you where anxious attachment is concerned, but it doesn't mean that you're not healed. What it means is that you now have the tools and you now have grown into a better, newer, healthier, healed version of yourself. And that version of you is what responds to these triggers, not the old, unhealed version of you. So if you've been on the inner work journey for a minute and something happened that made you question whether or not you're really healing and whether the inner work is really working, don't let that confuse you, because you're going to be triggered. You're going to have those experiences where something comes along and makes you doubt yourself and question yourself, but don't let it do it, because these are sure signs that you have healed anxious attachment or that you're healing out of it and that your inner work is actually working. Now, a sure sign that you've healed anxious attachment and that your inner work is working is that you don't crave constant attention and reassurance. You don't need constant text messages and compliments or proof that someone or your significant other is thinking about you, because now you validate yourself. You reassure yourself. You compliment yourself. And this is because you know your worth now. Doing the inner work helps you understand that you are worthy, whether someone is clapping for you or complimenting you or not. And all of this comes out of that inner work that you're doing that tells you that your internal is more validating than anything you can receive externally. And so what this really means is that you stop looking for that validation or looking for that high of someone telling you that you're beautiful or telling you that you're worthy, because you know you already are, because that is coming from within you and it's not coming from, or you're not looking for it outside of you. Now, another sign that you actually are healed from anxious attachment and all that inner work that you're doing is actually working is you no longer chase potential or look for potential in a partner. You choose peace. Listen, one thing for sure is healing brings peace. And when you are no longer anxiously attached, you no longer get caught up in all of those fantasies about what somebody could be, because you're no longer trying to fix or rescue a man. And you simply no longer entertain red flags in the name of hope. You've learned to let go quickly because you now choose peace over potential. Now, another really good sign that you are healing out of anxious attachment and that your inner work is actually working is that you can be alone without feeling abandoned. Now, before healing anxious attachment, silence can feel like rejection. You could actually be home alone and feel like the world has rejected you or the world forgot about you. But now you enjoy your own company and you've learned to fill that space or that alone time with love and joy and creativity. So now for you, alone no longer means unlovable. And this is a huge sign that you have healed anxious attachment and your inner work is actually working. Now, another sign that was really huge for me when I was healing out of anxious attachment was that I stopped having those imaginary conversations with my ex about what I could have said and arguments of what I should have said and what I wished I had said. See, before I was healed, my mind would always think of those kind of conversations, and it was wasted energy and it was a waste of my imagination. But now my mind is clear. My energy is focused on going forward and moving forward, and I'm no longer reliving that pain. I am rewriting my story. And so you know you've healed when your peace becomes more important to you than proving a point or trying to get your point across. Now, another healing sign that's really closely connected to this one is when you stop scripting your future around fear. And this is a huge one because when you are healing and when you are healed, you no longer expect the worst. You no longer expect to be ghosted or expect your text message to be ignored. You just don't have that low expectation. And this is because we allow hope to take up space in our hearts and in our minds. And we actually believe that the best is really possible for us. This is what healing would do. So if you no longer need to rehearse those old conversations, and if you no longer need closure, your inner work is really working. Now, another sign is if you actually know what you need and you're not afraid to ask for it, you have healed anxious attachment. And this is because you no longer feel like you have to shrink to be liked, or you no longer feel like you have to be low maintenance or easy to love. You simply refuse to perform for your worth and perform to have your needs met. And what you're doing is showing up as your whole, full, authentic self, and you are letting people choose whether to take it or leave it. And either way they choose, you're okay with it. This is a huge sign that your inner work is working. And a sure sign is you do this even outside of romantic relationships. You are able to communicate your needs in your family, in your coworker relationships, and in your friendships. And when you do this, when you ask for your needs to be met, regardless of what kind of relationship you're in, and they are not met, you don't worry, because you know that ultimately it is your responsibility to meet your own needs. And you know that you are capable of doing just that. Now, another sure sign that your inner work is working and that you are healing anxious attachment is that you trust the timing of your life. You are not rushing. You are not obsessing over when will this relationship come, because you are no longer operating from a place of urgency. You are operating from a place of alignment. You are trusting that love is on the way because you are love and you are attracting it to yourself. And you also believe that what God has for you is for you and no one can take what has your name on it. And what this really says is that you are confident that when the time is right, the right man, the man of your dreams will show up on your path. But until then, you live and you thrive. Now, something else I want you to remember is that on the flip side of you trusting the timing of your life, I want you to know that it is okay to deeply desire a relationship and a connection, because desire doesn't mean desperation. You can fully desire to have a love in your life. You can long for it even, but longing is not a sign that you're not healed. It means that you just really desire a relationship. And all of us were created for intimacy and connection and relationship. So there is nothing wrong with having this strong desire for a relationship and connection and to be partnered with someone. Healing doesn't mean you stop wanting love. It means that your desire doesn't come from a place of lack. It comes from a place of overflow, of you wanting to share your love with someone and have them share their love with you. So give yourself permission to desire and long for love while you're also affirming that you are whole all by yourself. Now, another old but good sign that you are actually healing anxious attachment and that your inner work is actually working is that you no longer believe that your singleness means that something is wrong with you. Now, before your healing, singleness might have triggered thoughts like, what's wrong with me? Or why doesn't anybody want me? Now you have shifted from that kind of shame-based thinking. You know that your worth isn't tied to a relationship status. You have reclaimed your identity and you know you're not broken, you are becoming. And so now your healed thinking has you thinking thoughts that say, I am whole, I am healed with or without a partner. And that is a sure sign that your inner work is working. Now, let me just say, even when you're conscious of your worth, you have to watch out for your subconscious. Now, your subconscious mind may lag a little bit in getting on board with this new healed state that you're living in. And this is because your nervous system is just used to that old pattern way of thinking and it needs time to rewire. So just keep reinforcing your new thoughts and your new beliefs, and please don't beat yourself up if those old patterns persist a little longer. You are rewiring your whole nervous system and your whole mind, and that just takes a little more time. So remember, your healing journey is about compassionate progress, not perfection. Now, If you are emotionally available to yourself, that is another sure sign that your inner work is working and that you are healing anxious attachment. So if you've learned to sit with your feelings, especially the uncomfortable ones, instead of projecting them onto others or running from them, that is a sign that you are healing and that you are doing the work and it is working. This means you're no longer using distractions and flings and fantasies to escape your emotions. Instead, you hold space for your triggers, you soothe your inner child, and you self-regulate. And that is real security. Listen, a sure sign that you are healing is allowing yourself to deal with hard emotions without needing someone else to fix them. So when you know that at the end of the day, you got you, you're healing. No, you're healed. Now, another really good sign that you have healed anxious attachment and that your inner work is really working is that you have changed and redefined what love looks and feels like for you. You've traded chaos for calm. See, in the past, before your healing, you likely chased love because it felt like adrenaline. But now you are calling in love to you that feels like alignment. You've reprogrammed your nervous system to recognize safety, not survival, as the standard. And so now love looks like to you peace and presence and partnership, not pursuit and pain. And the beautiful part of this is even if you're not in a relationship yet, you feel this love anyway. You feel it already because this is the kind of relationship you now have with yourself. Because the only way to have a kind of healthy relationship is to first have it with yourself. And this is a sure sign when you have that healthy, whole relationship with you, you know that you can have a healthy, whole relationship with someone else. And all of this love that you are experiencing because you're having this relationship with yourself is because you've created this beautiful, juicy life that you absolutely love. Now, have you experienced any of these signs? If the answer is yes, it's because you're healing. Your inner work is actually working and you have awakened that secure woman that is inside of you. But remember, healing doesn't mean you will never feel triggered again. It means that you now have the tools to respond instead of react. So I want you to remember that when triggers come, you hold space for yourself. You don't self-abandon. So if you ever wonder whether or not you're healing, remember that every single day that you decide to choose peace over panic, if you choose presence over performance, and if you choose self-worth over self-abandonment, it's working. Now, if you want further proof that your inner work is working, I want you to take a look at this next video, the 5 books that helped me awaken my healed, most confident self, because that's going to give you further proof that your healing and your inner work is actually working. So go check that video out. And don't forget to like this video or subscribe to the channel and share this video with another woman who may need this kind of support. And I will see you in the next video.